Good morning from Hackney Marshes here in East London. I'm here to run the Hackney Half Marathon this morning. A very popular and fun event in London where you get a big crowd turnout. It's good supporters on the side as well. It's a pretty twisty course, but it's still pretty flat overall. Plan today is just to have a good run out and try not to overexert myself. I've been travelling all week. It's still, I think we're 3 or 4 weeks out from the London Marathon, and this is kind of the starting gun on getting back into proper training again. So I'm going to have a good time today, try and run reasonably quick, maybe start off around marathon pace and see how that goes. I'm in the Hoka Cielo X1 2.0. Hoka are sort of the place for me today, so I'm running in some of their kit, including the Cielo X1 2.0. Also trying out their Novafly half tights for the first time. Big half tight fan, and these are pretty good. They've got some nice storage options and seem pretty comfortable so far. Other big thing we're testing today is the Forerunner 570 from Garmin, the new watch that launched last week. That's why I'm quite tired. I'm just back from Kansas actually from the launch, and going to go out and run with that. And I'm also going to use the Forerunner 265, which the 570 has replaced, despite the fact the names are very different. The 570 is basically the upgrade on the 265. You've got a bigger, brighter screen and some other little features on it. It's going to put them both in multiband mode and test out their GPS accuracy on a pretty tricky course, quite twisty in the centre of London. Well, not quite the centre of London, so the buildings aren't too high, but it's pretty twisty. And the heart rate, I've got a Coros Pace 3 in my back pocket linked to the Garmin HRM 200 chest strap, so I'll test the heart rate accuracy of the optical sensors on the watches on my wrists against that chest strap when I check out the data later on. Plus the GPS. Also got the Nank Ultra clip-on open headphones to give those a go on the course today, so that's the other thing I'm going to be testing. And yeah, like I say, it should be a lot of fun. I've run this, I think, once quite a long time ago now and had a really nice day out running. Hopefully it'll be fairly controlled today. I'll drop back if I need to try not to, make it feel too tough and horrible because, yeah, aim is mostly to have fun, run pretty fast, but mostly, yeah, have a good time. So all done, just finished up Hackney Half Marathon. Got my medal here, it's a very pretty medal, nice oil slick colour effect on that. Yeah, ran a 1:14:12, I think, something like that, according to text. And yeah, pretty much as I expected to go. Like, I went out trying to run kind of 3:30s. I did that for the most part. Like, I thought maybe I'd be able to run probably like a 1:13 mid if I was able to kick on a bit second half, but instead I was probably slowing down really. Just didn't have a lot in the legs, but good fun as always here. It's quite a twisty course, like it's not the absolute fastest in the world, but there's little ups and down undulations. Like sometimes I find that works really well in a half marathon. Actually, I feel like I run really well on those, but it's not pancake flat or anything. Good supports, big pockets of support. Like the stretches where you can kind of relax. It's less kind of aggressive than something like the London Marathon, but for the most part, it is pretty well supported. And there's lots of sections actually where runners are going in both directions. So that's quite nice. You see a lot of runners here. In terms of the kit, didn't learn a lot more about the Cielo X1 2.0, and they already know about it. Like, it's a really good shoe, like really bouncy, fast, feels lightweight. As I was trudging along second half there, it felt pretty good. It's almost like I ran basically the second half of the London Marathon again, like kind of went out feeling not great even actually for the first 10k, and then kind of slowed down a little bit second half after that. But it helped me keep going. Bit of bounce in the first half, not so springy on the downhills, and then nice and light on the uphills. So yeah, really solid shoe. Other bits of kit. So headphones, I had the headphones on today, bit of podcast, bit of music. They're pretty loud, I'd say, for open headphones. The Nank Ultra headphones, these are. The controls aren't very good. I don't like the controls. Kind of one of those tappy touch panels that doesn't always register your commands, I find. But yeah, they go good. Like, put the music on second half, even the loud cheers, you kind of hear it a little bit, get a bit of motivation. And so they're all nice. On the watches, obviously the big thing today is the Forerunner 570, which I was wearing against the Forerunner 265. I will check the heart rate later on GPS Trace, but in terms of distance accuracy, the 570 is a lot closer to the markers, and the overall distance was definitely the one I was relying on in the race more, because quite early on the 265 had me, was beeping well before the markers on the course in terms of distance covered. So whereas the 570 is a lot closer to the actual distance run. So yeah, definitely a bit more helpful on pacing there. And probably the biggest upgrade you're actually getting on the watch compared to the 265 is the new design with the larger, brighter screen. And it's one of those things, it's got a brighter screen, but it's a lot brighter. Like, we noticed this when we were first checking out the watch in Kansas. And it's something, I've seen all the time in like runs in bright sunlight in particular, and even today on a pretty overcast day, that screen is a lot brighter. So then we'll look at the heart accuracy at home, but I think both watches actually look pretty close to what I'd imagine that would be for a half marathon, and I'll check what the Coros Red linked to the heart rate monitor later. But yeah, all in all, nice fun day at the Hackney Half. Like, it is a fun event, it's got a nice feel to it, a nice vibe to it, there's loads going on the whole weekend, so it was good to come down and be a part of it and get a nice run in. So it's the day after the race now. I've had a chance to look over all the data from the watches and think about some of the other kit I tested. Got my medal there, which I will say again is a very nice medal from Hackney Half. And it was a really fun race all round. I don't think it's necessarily the quickest course, the Hackney Half. You've got a lot of twists and turns, a couple of full about turns, but it was a pretty fast field this year. I think faster than it has been in the past. And it's certainly a very fun event with lots of good support on the sidelines. So on the watches, as I mentioned at the end of the race, their GPS was a little bit better, I would say, on the Forerunner 570. It was beeping more in line with the lap markers. The overall distance was more likely to be correct. Definitely ran a bit long in this race because it was twisty and turny. It was a bit crowded at points, and I probably took some wider lines. But overall, the pacing and distance stats felt better on the 570. And it was the watch I used during the race to actually pace myself because the 265 was beeping a long way before the markers. Actual GPS tracks look pretty similar all round. That's often the case. No real glaring errors from either of these watches. They're both really impressive multi-band watches, but the 570 was just that little bit closer to the official distances throughout. And the heart rate, both are pretty much spot on. I had the Garmin HRM 200 chest strap on linked to the Coros Pace 3 in my pocket, and aside from the Forerunner 570 taking a couple of minutes to get up to the correct heart rate, the watches were bang in line with the chest strap throughout the race, within a beat or two. So yeah, all good on that front. Then on battery life, the Forerunner 265 did drain a bit more slowly than the 570. Now, in general, the 265 has better battery than the newer watch because the 570 has a bigger, brighter display, but I was using both watches in multi-band GPS mode, and both of them are listed as lasting 14 hours in that mode when you've got the screen always on, as I did. On both of them actually outperformed that stat. The Forerunner 570 drained at a rate suggesting it would last about 14 and a half hours of GPS use, but the Forerunner 265 drained at a rate that would suggest it would last about 18 hours in that mode. So both outperformed their listed stats, but the Forerunner 265, I think in general, is going to have longer battery life. Just like I say, you've got that bigger, brighter screen, and that was certainly noticeable as well. I used the Forerunner 265 several times over the past couple of years for long stretches, and the screen was always great to me, but when you put them side by side, it's definitely an improvement, this new screen. It's bigger, it's brighter, it's as big as the screen on things like the Phoenix 8 51mm, because it's it's the largest display Garmin offers in its sports watches, 1.4 inches, and it's a really good screen. That's certainly an uptick in terms of brightness. Most noticeable under bright sunlight, you get even clearer vision there, but then the 265 is still a very clear screen and one I enjoyed using. But that is more of an upgrade than I think I expected when I saw the 570 announced. It's a really nice display. Then on the Hoka Cielo X1 2.0, yeah, not too much to say. I think I do run well in the shoe and I really like it, but I've actually only raced in it when not in the best condition. So I've done some really hard training runs in it when I was in shape, including my hardest training run ahead of the London Marathon. I was doing 8 times 3K off 1K float and really liked it. But the half marathons I've done in it have been the first event back after the marathon. So one after Seville and then now one after London. And I wasn't in great shape yesterday. So I do think it helped carry around. It was very bouncy early on when I did have a bit more gusto. And by the end, it was just helping to kind of turn over. But yeah, certainly would like to get a race in the shoe when I'm a bit more fresh and feeling good and ready to go and fight for a PB. Because I do think this Cielo X1 2.0 is a really good shoe. Probably would have the Fast R3 and the Meta Speed Sky Paris ahead of it still for myself. But yeah, really good shoe. Look forward to running in it in a race when I'm a bit fitter at some point. But the Hoka Novafly half tights, I really like those. They're very comfortable and there's really good storage on them. Now, there might not be quite enough storage for me for a marathon because I carry so much sports drink with me when I do marathons, but for shorter races for sure. You've got a large drop-in side pocket. I had my phone in that during this race. You've got a zip side pocket as well, which is quite a small opening, but there's quite a lot of space in that pocket for stuff like gels. And then you've got a pull-through pocket at the back, which essentially is one big pocket with 2 points of access if you're using it for stuff like gels. So yeah, all round, I really like those half tights. Definitely will be using those again. Finally, the Nank Ultra headphones. These are pretty good value, I would say. So even though their RRP isn't that low, they are always in a sale. It's a product where the RRP can be forgotten because yeah, they're always in a sale on the Nank website, or if you're looking at them at Amazon as well. So I think at the moment they're about £60 or $80, and that's a lot cheaper than some of the really big hitter open headphones like the Bose Ultra open earbuds, which I really like, and they offer better sound quality. But the Nank Ultra offer pretty good sound, pretty good battery life. The controls are a bit fiddly. They're kind of touch panel controls that I don't think work that well. Yeah, a good solid budget option if you do want open headphones, decent enough sound, not always going to be loud enough in busy environments, but yeah, the Nank Ultra buds are worth looking at if you'd like something a bit cheaper in terms of clip-on open headphones. All in all, it was a fun day out for sure. It's a good event, the Hackney Half Marathon, and there's a really nice atmosphere to it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to maybe one day running it. It's always just after the London Marathon, so I'm never really going into that race, very fresh. But it was certainly fun to go and run hard there yesterday and see where I'm at. So thanks to Hoka for sorting the race place for me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into some more regular training again now after a bit of recovery time and travel time after the London Marathon.